Hey, everybody. Welcome. Glad to have everybody here. I can see so many of you on YouTube and Periscope and Twitch and a few on Discord. Good. Love to have you chatting. Please check in. Tell me where you are. I'm Shelly Palmer, and welcome to the Strategy Hacker live stream. Hello, Carolyn Wall. Welcome. Where are you today, Carolyn? Or what part of the world? That's the big question for openers. Where is everybody? I'm in New York, where we're expecting the end of the world. Hey, Mickey, how are you from Southern California? We are literally expecting the end of the world today. We're supposed to have our first nor'easter of the year. I don't know if I'm super excited about that or not. Probably not that excited about it. But welcome, everybody. We are going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff today. We're going to get into my Halo band in a little bit. We're going to get into Facebook reading brainwaves. Hello, Ken from New York City. Welcome. The snow has started in New Jersey. Hey there, Larry Samuels and Michael Port. How are you? Welcome. And Steve Micatola. Welcome from Toronto. Excellent. Karen Wall, you're in Connecticut. That's fantastic. So the chat is the place where all of this happens. So I want you to use the chat not only to, hello, Jim Thomas from Minneapolis, not only to talk to me, which I am happy to answer any one of your questions all afternoon, but also would love you guys to engage with one another. The chats have been fantastic over the last few weeks, and I'm more excited about you guys talking to each other than I am about you talking to me. Of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, please. Hello, Don Levine from Westbury, Long Island. Glad you're here. Henry, where are you today? Atori from Connecticut. Welcome. And Dwight from Boston. All over the place. That's great. How's the weather out there? Are you guys getting the same storm we're going to get? I think it's the Vermonters and the above are going to be spared what's going to happen here in New York, unfortunately. Hello from Seal Beach, California, Gary Einstein. Very glad to have you here. So let's just jump in with a little bit of housekeeping. If you are on Facebook or if you're on Periscope or if you are in one of the other areas of the world, we have a lot of different streams going right now. And I think LinkedIn, let me look. LinkedIn is still sending data. I don't know what's happening there, but you can get to us on YouTube by going to shellypalmer.com/live. Hello, Kathy Aronson from Los Angeles. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Happy to have you on YouTube. It's easy. The chat is live and you can chat with me and chat with each other. So shellypalmer.com/live will get you right to YouTube. Looking at 12 to 18 inches in the Boston area, less on the Cape. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. They've been portending the end of the world. Joey says it's snowing in New Jersey already. Well, it's winter after all. If you're not a PGX member, I hope you will consider joining. In the description on all of the streaming services, I've put a link. It's a live link that will get you directly into PGX. PGX is our invitation-only private social network. What we do there is talk about the daily business of technology, media, marketing, innovation, business itself. It's a group of almost 3,000 professionals. What a fantastic group. And it's always a lively discussion. Hello, David Hool from Sarasota, Florida. So yeah, it's always a great group. And you will enjoy meeting the people there and interacting. You learn a little bit, you teach a little bit. And that's a theme that goes on throughout our whole community, learning a little bit and teaching a little bit. If you would like to talk to me about anything, Shelly at shellypalmer.com. I'll put that up a few times during this live stream. You can always DM me at Shelly Palmer on Twitter. I'm very happy to respond to your emails. If there's something we can do to help you or help you drive your business forward, create more value for your business, you let us know. We'll be happy to see if we can help. Now, one of the things that we do every Monday through Thursday, Timothy Brooks, still dry in Connecticut, glad to hear it. One of the things we do Monday through Thursday is we do these salons, these online networking salons, and they have really been an oasis in the middle of exile for me personally. And we've been learning how to gather together in different sized groups and do two things. One, recreate a water cooler conversation every day, just kind of hanging out for 15 minutes and talking about what's going on each day with friends. And we've also introduced some serendipity because we're inviting new people all of the time, and there are breakout rooms, and everybody gets together. We have a topic that is a general topic for the day. And then people will discuss in breakout rooms how they feel about it. They get to meet some new people. They get to speak to old friends. And as I said, you learn a little and you teach a little. So we do this Monday through Thursdays. And let's see, here on Mondays, let's see if I can put this in a place I can read it. On Mondays, we do Education Tech at 11:05, and there's a few minutes of introduction, and then there's 15 minutes of breakout, and then there's a little bit of a wrap up. So it's just 15 minutes of your time. We do Education Tech and Digital Transformation as subjects on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we do AI and machine learning in the early session at 11:05, and then at 11:35, we do smart home. You can come to all of them but if you're interested in any of these subjects, but subject matter experts from each of these areas tend to show up at each of these salons. On Wednesdays, we host in the early session at 11:05, we host health and wellness tech aficionados and people who are super interested in that area. And then 5G and connectivity in the late session. So that's always a lot of fun. It's the most lively because 5G, as I've said many times, is 95% marketing hype and 5% marketing hype. So at least from a consumer perspective. So we tend to have two groups in that 5G and connectivity salon. One are people who are working in industrial 5G, which is what's really vibrant and fantastic and happening now. And then people who are trying to understand like how you make a faster phone call, which is of course you can't. So 5G and connectivity, it's a good one to go to. And on Thursdays, two of my favorites, the early session is media and entertainment, which is just a great group of people, and then advertising and marketing. So these are the areas that the Palmer Group most specializes in: technology, media and entertainment, and marketing, sort of all wrapped up on Thursday mornings. So you're welcome to come to any of these or all of these. Again, it's Monday through Thursdays, 11:05, 11:35. I hope you'll join. It'd be great if you did. Jean, welcome from Jeananne, sorry. Jean or Jeananne? Janine? Jean. I'm going to say straight up Jean from the Bay Area checking in. How are you? One thing I want to talk to you a little bit about very quickly before we get into today is at courses.shellypalmer.com, we have a whole bunch of free downloads and templates and stuff you can get there. There's also some courses you can sign up for. The big one is the Brand Playbook Generator. That's the same methodology we use to do brand positioning for all of our big clients. And I put it in a course. It's step by step how to position your brand. And right now, when we're all trying to think forward and we're all trying to get a handle on what's next, I think it's a great exercise to put your team in a room and go through a solid positioning exercise to understand where you are, where you need to go, and what's happening. So, but there's plenty of free downloads and lots of resources there. So I hope you'll check out courses.shellypalmer.com. Of course, we have our, for the holidays, our strategy hacker collection at store.shellypalmer.com. You get your strategy hacker t-shirts. And here I have one of my official mugs. This is my favorite. This is I just press save and upload, which is of course my entire job, just pressing save and upload. If that's what you do, or if this meeting should have been an email, or any one of the millions of phrases that we use every day, we put them on cups and t-shirts and stuff. None of it's Shelly Palmer branded. It's all strategy hacker hashtagged. It's just kind of fun for the holidays. And that's the point of this, right? We're just here to have some fun for the holidays. It's not a profit-making enterprise for us. In fact, what we're thinking about doing is actually taking all of the merchandise profits such that they are and donating them this year for the holidays, because I think that'd be the right thing to do. Hey there, Mary. The mug on the screen and the mug in your hand. Yeah, it's my mug on the screen. That's very funny. My mug on the screen and my mug in my hand. Yes, I can do that again. Hold on. Super fun for the whole family. So check in, everybody. Where are you calling in from? Where are you? Where are you sitting? Hit us up in chat. Let me see what you're doing. If you have any questions about any current events, technology, media, marketing, business, innovation in general, please ask them now. I'd be very happy to take your questions. And hello from Munich, Jonas. Yeah. Oh, the article about my experience in TV and the future of television and movies. We're going to get to that. Maybe we'll pull that up first. You know, since you brought it up, we can maybe take that as the first thing we're going to do today. I'm totally fascinated. I mean, I'm personally totally fascinated by the evolution of television, the art form versus television, the platform. And I got to tell you, this past weekend, I sat down for lunch on Saturday. Normal day for me. I sit in the office and I work all day long generally. And if I eat in the office, if I eat in my home office, I feel like I'm never leaving work. So I try to go in the kitchen and, set a little placemat down and just act like a normal person for a half hour during lunchtime. And also, kind of kick on the TV and maybe see what happened in the news, because I don't like to turn the news on when I'm sitting at my desk in my office, because then all of a sudden I'm like watching TV. I can't concentrate. I like to do work when I'm working. So it's somewhere around noon, and I turn on the set. This is Scout's honor, folks. Scout's honor. I go to CNN, which is usually my first thing that I do. I'm on CNN on a regular basis. I love the organization. I love the people there. I turn it on. I'm in the middle of a pharma commercial. I'm like, really? Okay. I don't have a lot of time for lunch today. So, because I don't have a lot of time I did that to myself again today. I shouldn't do this picks and picks when I hit that button. So anyway, commercial there. I flip over to MSNBC, which I tend not to watch that much. Commercial there. I thought, okay, for entertainment value, I'll go to Fox News Channel, which I never go to. Another commercial, actually the same one that was on MSNBC. It was like a Medicare supplemental commercial or something long, 120-second, like infomercial style 2-minute commercial. So then I decided, okay, look, I'll try HG. And I went over to HGTV. I figured I'll just watch something mindless on HG. Commercial. Then I started going to the local broadcast stations, WNBC, WABC, WCBS. One of them bumped out to commercial. I think the other one then bumped out to commercial. I literally, commercial after commercial, I could not find. I was 10 minutes with my Amazon Fire TV remote in my hand. 10 minutes. Nothing but commercials. Period, end of stop, commercials. I turned off the set. And then I said, ALEXA, she's sitting right there, so I'm not going to do it, news. And Amazon Voice Services started playing news for me, my curated news that I set up in my Alexa app. And that was the end of TV for me. That was the last time I've decided I'm turning on the television set at noon or any other time for broadcast TV. So I just thought I'd write about TV, the art form, versus TV, the platform. And I'll describe those two in a second. Yes, we'll definitely get to the EU, guys. For sure. And the Texas lawsuit against Google's monopoly, for sure. And yes, Steve Bradbury, that's exactly right. So Steve Bradbury is exactly why commercial TV has become DVR TV. I think that's right. I do think that's right. So yeah, at the end of the day, TV, the platform, is broadcast television. So broadcast TV, for those of you who are not familiar, is literally where you used to use an antenna, but now you use cable. So the local affiliate stations, which are in New York City, WABC, WNBC, WNYW, which is Fox 5, WCBS, the CBS television network, the duopolies of Pix and Pix is independent, which is WPIX, and it's what's left of the Tribune Broadcasting Company station group of things, and WNYW and WWOR are duopolies. So we've got, those are the local broadcast stations. You can get them if you have free over-the-air television. You can get them. Then there's traditional cable. Traditional cable in our case are all things that are just cable networks. They're called cable, but they're really broadcasting over a cable system. They are both subscription and ad supported. They are bundled. So we would include them in the platform. We could include the television networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, the big networks, because they broadcast through affiliates, which are the local stations. They don't come to you directly. There is no NBC network place you can go. You have to go to your local station. That's the way that works. So now you have to add in to this the local cable channels where the local interconnect sells advertising, and you have to add in the local cable news channels like News 12 Long Island or News 12 Westchester or New York One. These are also considered traditional broadcast. What is traditional broadcast? It's linear as opposed to on demand, although they may offer some of their programming on demand. Generally, their revenue is a linear program stream, which means it's a destination. It's on a channel. You go to it, channel 2, channel 4, channel 6, channel 7. You go to it. It has an actual channel location, and it's available on your cable box in a linear fashion. That's TV, the platform, as opposed to TV, the art form. Now, TV, the art form, is a completely different animal in my mind. TV, the art form, is a collection of content that you might view on a TV. So all the videos that we have available to us on demand, I would lovingly refer to as TV, the art form, and they go across a very wide spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, you've got user-generated content, which people in the broadcast business are always ready to be pejorative about and to look down upon. I cannot tell you how many people responded to my article, TV, the art platform versus the art form, which is available at shellypalmer.com. It's what I wrote this Sunday, my thought leadership piece. People wrote all kinds of nasty letters about how all this crap, in quotes, on YouTube and TikTok was not really important. Folks, I'm here to tell you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, quality is in the eyes of the beholder. Broadcast quality content, whatever that used to mean, whatever that gatekeeper was, for anyone to have the arrogance to say that a piece on TikTok or a piece on YouTube is low quality if it's got an audience of thousands of people or millions of people, I'm sorry. These are creators who understand their medium. They understand their distribution channels as well or better than the TV broadcasters understood their distribution channels. And they are making a living for themselves, and they're creating content. And that content is vying for the only thing that we have in short supply in our human lives, which is our time. So if I'm spending 15 seconds on a TikTok piece of content, I'm not spending 15 seconds watching whatever's on broadcast television right now. If I'm spending 10 minutes watching a YouTube video, I'm not watching something else on my large screen TV set. Time is the currency. My attention is the currency. Yes, thank you, Jonas. You're watching YouTube and Shelly Palmer instead of local German news. I appreciate that very much. And by the way, every broadcaster should appreciate that, because if I can get just a few minutes of your time, and there are so many people out there vying for it, you can't be looking down on people that are making content that are taking away their attention and these videos. So that's one end. The other end of the spectrum is Game of Thrones. $5-10 million an episode. Crazy, unbelievable, magnificent made little movies. Anything you see on Netflix that they spent real money on. I'm kind of into Star Trek Discovery, although I don't know why. Is that a broadcast TV show? Well, they've been broadcasting it on CBS because they have commercial break. It's set up with commercial breaks in it. Even though it just goes kisses black and comes back, it's clearly where the commercial breaks are going to be when they throw commercials in there. But when you watch it at CBS All Access, which is their streaming service, which they charge, I don't know, $6-7 a month for, there you're watching basically a 48 to 52 minute television show. I also happen to like Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and they're about 48 minutes, and wow, I don't know what they're spending on those. It's not 5 cents an episode. They're spending real money. I get so much video in 4K. Where can I get 4K with 7.1 sound for my living room or 5.1 sound for my bedroom? Well, the only place that that's available is online. Netflix has some 4K, and pretty much all the streaming services. YouTube has some 4K, and they all come prepackaged with either Dolby 5.1 or 7.1. Some of them, have real multiplexed audio for you, so you can have you can't get that over cable. There's, to be fair, there are some cable boxes and there are some cable channels where that is possible, but it's not the norm. Most cable boxes are strictly HD, if they're HD, and most of the channels on cable boxes are not HD, in case you haven't looked. They may be 16:9, but they're not high definition. Fios, only about half the channels in a Fios box come in as high definition to this day. And we're sitting here looking at 4K. So if you want a premium video experience, only place you're getting a premium video experience is over the top. What that means is coming in through your broadband connection over the top of your cable box, assuming you're buying internet from your cable provider, which you may not be. So TV, the art form, is in its platinum era. There are something like 600 shows in production right now that are all what we would lovingly call in the industry Emmy-worthy or broadcast quality. These are shows that somebody with real money sat down and made. These are anywhere from $500,000 to $10 million an episode. Broadcast quality television. TV's not really dead. It's just dead to me. It's still a multi-billion-dollar industry. And remember, TV is free. Free to watch. You have to pay for cable, but you don't. You can have an antenna. And a digital antenna actually works extremely well. In fact, the farther out of a city you are, the better off you are. By the way, please ask any questions you want. And David Hool, I know that you and I have similar viewing habits. We're kind of similar mindset. If you have any questions, please ask them. If you'd like to respond to anything I'm saying or call BS on anything I'm saying, please do that, because I'm not the only authority in the world on this, but I do have a point of view. Back to our story. So yeah, TV is still a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's free. So it's very pro-consumer. You're going to have people who will watch free television. Yeah, Samsung does have free TV too. You turn on the box and there's a whole bunch of free television that shows up from Samsung. Pluto is free, but it's over the top. So yeah, there's plenty of free TV stuff out there. By the way, if you're uncomfortable putting stuff in the chat and you just want to reach out, please feel free to reach out to Shelly at shellypalmer.com. I would be absolutely happy to answer your emails. You want to say something that you wouldn't necessarily want to say in a chat, which I would fully understand. So hello, Chris Meyer. Welcome from Las Vegas. I hope the weather out there is good. So anyway, yeah, I don't think TV is going anywhere for a minute, but it is going somewhere. In this case, I've been in budget meetings for major organizations for the last 5 years. And actually the last 35 years. But in the last 5 years, there has been an unspoken foreboding that the industry is heading off a cliff. And the reason is that TV ratings, Nielsen ratings, have been declining precipitously, 8 to 10% per year for a decade. And the way that the industry's gotten around it is they've just charged more money. And they've done an unbelievable job charging more for less. And the reason they can charge more for less is fascinating. It's really simple too. It's supply and demand. It's Thursday night, and you are a company that needs people to buy stuff on Friday when they get their paycheck. Go to the grocery store, do whatever. Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m., wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, is the most valuable television time there is. So the more people you can put together on Thursday night and show them a commercial and get them top of mind for your product when they get their paycheck the next day, the better off you're going to be. This has been true since the advent of television. Thursday night from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock and 30 seconds is the most expensive 30 seconds of a normal week. You could have a week where there's a more expensive 30 seconds, a football game, or in some special, the Academy Awards or the Super Bowl. But on a given week, other than the 44 event days of television that happen every year, on a normal week, 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock and 30 seconds, Thursday night, that's where you spend your money, if you have it. And you try to be first up in that pod. And you're looking for women 18-49, given a choice 25-34, but you'll take 25-49. And you are selling something that they are going to buy. They're the number one consumers in America. This is the reach medium. And you are trying to reach the largest number of human beings, which, even as expensive as it will still be the cheapest price you can spend on that audience to get your message in front of that audience. You'd like to do it a couple times inside that 8 to 10 o'clock period. Can you afford to go earlier in the primetime access locally, the 7 and 7:30 shows, which are generally game shows or tabloid shows? Yeah, that's okay. But mom may be busy cooking dinner or doing homework or getting the kids together, and she's magic to us because she's holding the money. So 8 to 10, everybody's sitting down to just relax for the evening. That's called prime time for a reason. It's when most people sit down to be entertained mindlessly. And Thursday night is the night before you get paid. This isn't going to change. It's not going to change. Our behaviors are changing, but on a macro level, Thursday night's Thursday night. But what has changed, what has dramatically changed, is who's watching television, linear TV, when it's broadcast, versus who's making choices to watch when they want, on demand, on their own time, in their own environment, on their own devices. And that, my friends, over the last 10 months, has just exploded. It's nothing like what it was. And you don't need to use me as a focus group of me, and I would never use myself as a focus group of one. Ask everyone you know, do any kind of research you want. Are you consuming media today the way you consumed media last year on this day? Not a chance. Not a chance. And I can't imagine that anyone hasn't changed their media consumption habits at this point during the pandemic. Whether it's over-abusing Netflix and using up all of the new streaming services like Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus, all of those things people are doing. They're just consuming out of control. I'll share something personal with you. I've adopted a crazy personal behavior. I watch YouTube now almost exclusively in the evenings. And I watch shows about physics and math and music. And there's some guys that teach on YouTube that are amazing. There's a couple piano teachers, a couple guitar teachers. I just love what they do. They're always interesting. 3 Blue, 1 Brown. If you haven't seen it, it's like my favorite thing on YouTube. It's math lessons. It might not be your thing, but it's the math teacher I always wish I had. It's like the math teacher you just dreamed about when you were in high school and college. And it's fantastic, to be fair. And there's a whole group of guys at that level that are doing amazing, amazing work on YouTube. There's Curiosity Stream, which is not YouTube. It's a separate streaming service. Also, super high quality videos. If you're into that stuff, right? It's not entertaining in the way that like a movie is entertaining, but 3 Blue, 1 Brown just never disappoints. Never disappoints. The only thing I wish it had was a study group, honestly, because I would sit there at night and study with people because there's a lot to take in any given 3 Blue, 1 Brown episode. Yeah, Aldo, I know, it's fantastic. Steve Bradbury, what are we saying here? On July 1st, 1941, the first ever commercial aired on TV. Yes, that was a spot. That's right. That was the Bulova spot. That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. That was the first commercial. No one really knew what to do with commercial TV back then. Nobody did. And we're not there now. It's funny that you bring that up, Steve, because that's a really important point. And I guess we should make it now. We're talking about what's new and what's changed and how things have changed and how things are new. When television was born, when it was brand new, no one knew what to do with it. There was no videotape. You couldn't record anything. The way you recorded your television was in a kinescope. You pointed a film camera at the cathode ray tube and you filmed the television show. That's how you recorded and stored a TV show for posterity. Videotape wasn't invented till the 50s. So no one really understood the medium. Where did the actors and actresses come from? Where did the shows come from? The radio business. And where did the radio actors come from? Vaudeville. And so TV was about pointing a camera at something that they understood. And it took years, literally decades, before we got what any of us would recognize as a TV show. Where you had an opening, an epilogue, a break, 3 acts, and some kind of closing, cold close, or some little bit at the end. So prologue and epilogue and 3 acts. Maybe that's late 50s, early 60s, certainly not early 40s. No way. There wasn't even a wheel clock. Television, there were still stations when I was a kid. I'm going to date myself. There were stations when I was a kid that still went off the air at night. It's test tone. Crazy, but true. So yeah. What was the first internet ad? Oh my God. This is a question for everybody in chat. I love it. This is fantastic. What was the first internet ad? I don't think I know. I don't think anybody knows, but we're going to see if someone does. I'm not going to look it up right this second, but that's amazing. What was the first internet ad? So when you go back to this, no one really knew what TV was. It took us a while, and then we became great at TV. We didn't just become great at TV. We became great at commercial television. And what I mean by great at commercial television is every episode had a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Every episode had a rising action, climax, and a falling action. Every episode was captivating, and the people who did it well could get millions, with an S, millions of people to tune in every week for what was coming next. This is mind-boggling. Try it now. It's hard. It's amazingly hard. And you could argue it was a simpler time. I don't know how much simpler that time was. Through the lens of 2020, 2019 was a simpler time. I think it was just as tough for them as it is for us. And the people who learn to do television well are geniuses. But there's more than that, because at the same time, the advertising business was learning to tell stories in 1-minute chunks, and ultimately in 30-second chunks, and ultimately in 15-second chunks. And I got into the business. I left film school in 79, and my first job in television was right around then. 60-second spots were still being purchased. And the new thing was a 30-second spot, and it cost just half as much as a 60-second spot. But people were saying you couldn't tell a story in 30 seconds. The first real commercials I was making as a composer were all 30 seconds long, 81, 82, when I was really cranking them out, working for other organizations. And so, okay, Michael Port's got it here. It's going to be too small I think it's going to be too small to read, but we'll see if you guys can read this. I'll read it out loud for you. According to the internet, on October 27, 1994, the first online ad was posted, a banner ad to a web page. So, okay, we don't know which one it was, but October 27, 1994. That's totally cool. That's totally cool. So commercials are amazing because they have beginnings, middles, and endings, rising action, climaxes, and falling action. And commercials tell stories in 30 seconds in ways that are simply magical. Simply magical, and have always been simply magical. They get you to buy stuff you don't want and you don't need with money you don't have. And if that's not magic, There's no such thing. So TV commercials, and that's a business I was in for 30 years, full time, day in, day out, full time, making commercials. If I were to take the job right now, this year, if I were to take a job doing it, which I won't probably, I would do the music for my 5,000th television commercial. I've been making TV commercials for a long time, and I've made a lot of them. And I'm telling you, the people that write them and produce them and make them, I've written a few myself, like a few thousand of them. But I'm not just talking about me. The people I competed with, the people that I hung out with, it's billions and billions of dollars were spent airing these little mini movies. And the job of these little mini movies, these little stories, was to separate you from your hard-earned money. It's good stuff. At the end of the TV business, and I'm saying end because I'm done with TV, all I was looking at was commercials. The pods were so long and so voluminous and so repetitive and so uncreative. Whatever remnants of the amazing commercial television business was gone, and whatever remnants of the TV business are gone. But those billions of dollars being spent will still be spent. The question is, who is going to be watching? And this is where this gets crazy. Who's going to be watching? Well, free, as I said, is very, very pro-consumer. So we know for a fact that people that are not able to have other opportunities are going to be watching. You have an iPhone, you'll watch whatever you want to watch on that screen. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is an incredible screen. You have a Samsung Galaxy S20. That screen's even more amazing. They're mind-boggling. You have one of the newer tablets. You've got a great laptop. You have a 4K set in your home. You have a broadband connection. You have choices. You are not at the mercy of broadcast television. In fact, you never have to turn on the TV. You can be on demand all day, all night, and only turn on a broadcast television station if you are absolutely forced. And when you're absolutely forced is something happens that you need to have something live. And by the way, I'm not sure that that's the best version of that anymore either, because they've cut the budget so dramatically to local news and local television that I'm not even sure that there aren't better alternatives that are online and available. So what's commercial television turn into then? If I'm an advertiser, do I still get my reach? And if I'm reaching, am I reaching the right demo? So there's no such thing as best, right? What's the best coffee mug? There's no such thing as what's the best anything anymore. What's the best coffee mug for me? That's a good one. So what's the best show to be on? What's the best show on television? There's no such thing as those are invalid questions. There's no such thing as the best show on TV. The right way to ask that question is, what show is most popular among two-headed Martians that eat their young on Thursdays? And which show engages them to the point where the advertising is the most efficacious? You ask those questions. What shows convert against my two-headed Martians that they eat their young on Thursdays the best? There's a best there. There's an objective best. More two-headed Martians are right there, and that's what they watch. Three-headed Martians are over here. That's what they watch. You can have a best. On digital, this is child's play. It's child's play. You have enough data, and you can just segment and target. And you can test, fail, and learn against that target, and you can find lookalikes because there's plenty of data to tell you who those lookalikes are. And you don't even need to use video as the medium for the lookalikes. You can go ahead and grab everybody, and then you can parse that data and use it to drive your business forward, to drive value for your business. So the value creation comes from aggregating an audience, understanding that audience deeply, and then using that data to increase the size of that audience in a very targeted and efficient way. Broadcast television can't do any of that. So who's left on broadcast television? Well, people who are not falling into these groups. They're not technologically sophisticated. They are not necessarily moneyed to the point where they have choices, or if they are moneyed to the point where they have choices, they've made the choice where it doesn't matter to them, which means that you don't matter to them because they're not paying attention. Wow. What does that say about spending your TV dollars? Can you reach your audience on broadcast television at a rate? Because that was what the magic of TV was. $1 gets me $3 a reach, and I'm just getting everywhere. And no matter what I spent on TV, like people consistently complain about the Super Bowl ad pricing. They're so expensive. I think they were getting $5 million last year for 30 seconds of airtime during the Super Bowl. Although you can't actually buy a Super Bowl ad by itself. You have to buy a package of ads. The Super Bowl is used as a hammer to hit media buyers over the head with every year, no matter which network has it. It's always, $5.5 million for a Super Bowl ad this year. Sounds insane, right? No, it's probably the least expensive 30 seconds of airtime you can buy on TV for the whole year on a per person basis. Per person basis. So if you're looking on a CPM basis, if you want to reach the largest number, now, for an advertiser, they have to ask a big question. Does reach solve my problem? Does awareness solve my problem? Because if awareness doesn't solve your problem, TV is not even going to help you in that respect. What I mean by that is everybody knew who and what Chrysler was. Awareness wasn't Chrysler's problem. Their advertising was terrible. Their cars didn't resonate with consumers. They went out of business. They went out of business for a whole bunch of reasons. Their advertising, they could have advertised reach all you want, but if you're reaching people with products that don't resonate and no one cares, then no one cares. It's that simple. So we're at a crossroads for television because the thing it used to do best, which was deliver me real reach, deep, solid, absolute, least expensive, deepest reach I can get. Reach extension, reach extension, reach extension. TV, if you're not doing that for me, what are you doing? Like, what do I get? It's a big question. And it's going to have to be answered sooner than later. Someone asked about Warner Brothers earlier. And Warner Brothers, as you all know from last week and reading the papers or the news, Warner Brothers has taken its entire 2021 slate and they're going to make it available day and date, meaning the day it's released theatrically, it will be released on HBO Max. This is awesome. It's awesome in every way. Something I've wanted to see for a very long time. You get to watch movies in the comfort of your own home. And I want to see Wonder Woman in 1984, and I'm looking forward to Dune, and I'm looking forward to like the whole slate. I really am. They make great movies at Warner Brothers, and right now I'm so content starved, totally happy. They completely forgot to ask anyone's permission to do that. So they just did it, and they pissed off Hollywood in a way that it's unprecedented. I have so many friends in Hollywood, and I've done so many business, so many colleagues there, and it's the buzz. It's what everybody's talking about. But it made me ask a different question because we've sort of asked and answered what Warner Brothers shoulda, coulda, woulda done. I applaud what Warner Brothers is trying to do. They're going to have a hell of a fight on their hands. The lawyers are going to get rich, and everyone's feathers are going to get ruffled, and ultimately people are going to figure out that on-demand is probably a valid approach to the distribution of content. But it made me ask another question, a different question. What's a movie? What is it? Best I can tell, the 17 Warner Brothers theatrical motion picture releases of 2021 are just really expensive on-demand videos. Ruh-roh. Now what? Can you spend 50, 60, 70 million dollars? 100 million, 150 million, 200 million, 400 million on a piece of on-demand video that's going on HBO Max? I don't think so. Maybe you could justify 20 million, 30 million, 50 million if you got more than 1 2 hour piece of content. Is there a streaming service? Can Netflix, they're saying $8 to $12 billion a year on content. And, it's working somehow for them, except is it? Can HBO Max do that? That's their own money that they're going to have to finance against. Can they come up with the number of subs that's going to drive that business? That is a fascinating question. Rochelle Winters, the Academy defines what a movie is. Yeah, I think I know what a movie is, but I don't know what a movie is in 2021. The movie business has always been the banking business. You bankroll a slate of movies. Some of them are going to be hits. Others are going to be okay. And most of them are going to just not work. And that's okay, because it's just a kind of a risk arbitrage. You're looking for what's known in the universe as a Zipf-ian distribution, right? You've all seen it. It's the demand curve. And what does that curve look like? The most popular, the second thing's half as popular, the third thing's a third as popular, the fourth thing's a fourth as popular, all the way out to N. It's a Zipf-ian distribution. That's pretty much what happens in content. Every once in a while you get a hit, and it pays for all the things that weren't a hit. It's kind of what risk management is. Anyway, the TV numbers are not great, and the TV business itself is in the crossroads for sure. The movie business apparently is at a crossroads that's impressive, and we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how all that plays out. I want to talk to you for 1 second about the upcoming Consumer Electronics Show, which is really not the Consumer Electronics Show anymore. It's just called CES. And it's going to be in January, mid-January, the 11th to the 14th. We're going to have our Innovation Series Summit on the 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll have Samsung and Facebook and Google and MasterCard and all kinds of interesting speakers. And we're also going to do this year our tech briefings and floor tours without the floor. There actually won't be a floor tour because there's no floor, obviously. And the no floor thing is kind of problematic, except we're going to be doing, I think, the finest CES thing we've ever done. Why? Because we can just show everybody everything. It's going to be super, super fun. If you are thinking about CES, please reach out to us. Again, you can reach me, at Shelly Palmer, Shelly at shellypalmer.com. Just reach out and we'll tell you what we're doing. I think you'll really be excited about it. They had a press conference last night talking about all the things they're going to do. I think they've got like 100 hours of content, which is interesting. And they are also talking about having virtual showcases, and it's not VR or anything. It's just a really well-built website and some streams. And I think it's going to be great. I do. And I think that it's going to be exciting this year. So if you are thinking about CES, please reach out to us, because we would very much like to tell you what we're going to do. Something also crazy happened to me this week. I got a Halo band. Have you guys seen this? You just throw something up in chat if you have. This is fascinating. Let me see if I can get this on camera 3 for you. This is my Halo band. It's got some little lights under there, and it's got one button and a microphone in it. There's no display of any kind. And it comes in small, medium, and large, and it comes in flavors. This is from Amazon, HALO. It's the Halo band. Anybody have one of those yet, or anybody know about it? Have you guys learned or heard about it yet? This is pretty fascinating. So it does steps. Duh. It does heart rate. Not unexpected. But it also listens to your conversations and decides how much stress you're under and makes some recommendations about that. Now, I've been talking about data and the data elite for a long time. And you know that I'm not a fan of the big data that we, the advertising industry, take and use, because not because of what we do with it. We're trying to put the right ad in front of the right person, the right place at the right time. And nothing could be more benign than that. That's pretty low key. I mean, I want to show you some relevant content. So I'm taking as much data as I can. I'm building a model that will help me understand what it is that you want. And I'm going to put that ad in front of you or that content in front of you. But people abuse that data pretty remarkably. And I'm not a fan of what goes on with big data. Everyone who knows me knows that. This thing, which I am wearing, is the singularly most invasive device I have ever encountered in my natural life. This is incredible. I don't know what they're going to do with this data. I have no idea how they're going to share it with, what their plans are. But the first time this thing told me that I was a little too agitated, it's like, what? And it didn't happen to be right. I was speaking loudly in a meeting because I was standing further away from my microphone than I wanted to be. And I didn't want them to have to work hard to hear me. But yeah, Amazon has taken this to a new level. Oh, I'm sorry none of you have heard about this or have it yet. I am living on the edge, Chris Meyer. That I absolutely am. Steve Catola, you don't have one either. If you do, please throw something in the chat. I would love your impressions of it. And if you know anything about it at all, if you heard anything about it, just throw some stuff in the chat. I'd love to understand what you know about it. Moving on, I'll cover this next week. I actually have to parse out some of this data, and I have to set it up in a way that I can show it to you because it's super personal and just ridiculous. It literally is the most invasive thing I've seen in my entire life. So I don't know if you know, Apple's come out with a couple new devices. They came up with the headphones we talked about last week, but they also came out with their new slate of MacBooks. And there's 3 Macs that are interesting. The MacBook Pro 13-inch, which is their newest model with their silicon in it, their M1 chip in it. And then they have their Mac Mini, which doesn't have a screen, and they've got their MacBook Air, which also has the M1 chip in it. As much as I beat up Apple last weekend, you know I did, these are insane. They are unbelievable. And I'm not sure why you need the MacBook Pro 13-inch over the Air, because they are very similar. The touch bar is the big difference that I can tell. They have the same number of ports. They're USB-C ports. But if you're thinking about a new computer and you're thinking about something that is peppy and you want something that has some real speed, they've reconfigured the guts of the MacBooks in a way that's probably worth mentioning. Conventional PCs have CPUs, and they have ROM, which is read-only memory, and RAM, which is random access memory. And they're put on a motherboard, and there's a bus architecture, and there's a clock, and the clock spins, and the CPU knows what to pull, and it knows what peripheral it has. And this construct of a PC has been around since the beginning of PCs. It started early, the early Apple IIs and the early Macs and all the early PCs. They all work on the same architecture. If you build a gaming PC today, you're going to get a motherboard and a CPU, and the ROM will be on the motherboard, but then you're going to get some RAM, and you'll add some speed and some amount. You'll add external storage. That's been the accepted architecture for a really, really long time, like from the beginning till now. These new computers from Apple don't do that. They have this thing called a unified memory architecture, and this unified architecture, the graphics card memory, the GPU memory, the CPU memory, like all the memory the computer needs is all in one place. There's no user serviceable memory inside. Not that there's any user serviceable memory generally in anything but the Mac Minis, but this new architecture, which they've just totally walked away from the norm, I think is going to become the norm. The MacBook Air 13-inch is 4 times, count them, 4 times faster than my late 2018 15-inch all singing, all dancing MacBook. That was $7,000. That's it's just solidly impressive. There's no other way to describe it. It's just super solidly impressive. So if you're thinking about it, the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, the M1 based machines. Now, the only problem, and I say this as a real warning, every single program has not been tested with the M1s. And so the M1 based machines, oh, Ken Gold. Yeah, absolutely. You did know. I'm going to give you the Ken Gold just asked. I thought you said not to get the M1 based machines. That's right. We're not buying M1 machines unless, this is the caveat, we have tested them with the programs we use the most. So this is important because not every program has had time to catch up. Most of the stuff that you use, especially if you're cloud-based, is going to work just fine. I'm not willing to give up my MacBook Pro 15-inch right now, but I am willing to entertain a new MacBook Air 13-inch form factor that's super peppy, relatively inexpensive by comparison, less than a quarter of the price, and a really nice form factor. So I am not telling you run out and buy an M1 based computer today, because not every piece of code you're going to run will run with it. But you can look up online if the programs you use the most are available or tested. And if that's true, you're going to be in great shape. So yeah, there you go. Okay, that's the MacBooks. And let's just, we're coming sort of to the end of our time together. So I just want to remind you that we do our salons. The salons are every Monday through Thursday at 11:05 and 11:35. And I hope that you will join us for the salons, because we would really love to have you. You know that you can email me at Shelly@ShellyPalmer.com, and I hope you'll do that. If you have any questions at all about anything we talked about today, although I didn't get to cover the Facebook new brain thing that they're working on, we'll do that next time. That's completely fun. They're going to try to read your brain waves. And what that really is their AI group is working really hard to try and deal with hate speech, and that's a big conversation. And then the EU is coming at big tech, and next week's strategy hacker live stream, we'll talk all about the EU coming at big tech really hard. It's an important subject, and I think we should cover it. Again, your holiday gifts at store.shellypalmer.com. If you're looking for something fun, all the strategy hacker and Zoom fail stuff is there. So that's good fun. And basically, folks, look, we do this every week for you. I'm here to answer your questions and to spend an hour with you each week. Am I taking off next week? What is next week? Is next week a holiday or something? The actual Wednesday? I have to look and see what Wednesday is. If it's truly the holiday, I don't have my calendar up. If it's truly the holiday, I probably will take next Wednesday off. But otherwise, thanks, Chris. Salons are the best. I love you. That's great. Yeah, if it's truly the actual holiday, then yeah, I probably won't do it. But otherwise, I will. Just check your calendar invites, because all of you get calendar invites. And you can go to ShellyPalmer.com and get a calendar invite for this if you'd like it. But again, we're here for you every week. And anything you want to know, you just feel free to ask. Again, please visit our salons. If you're thinking about CES, come and join us. We're going to do some really interesting things there. And I know the pandemic is taking its toll on everyone. And I'm hoping that everybody is, if I don't see you before the holidays, if we don't do this again before Christmas, I want you to have a very safe and healthy and happy Christmas and happy New Year. And really just try to be safe out there. We've just never seen anything like what the pandemic is doing now. So I don't have to tell you, but wear your masks and try to stay safe. And hope you and your loved ones have an amazing holiday. I will be here on the 23rd next Wednesday because it's just a couple days before Christmas. Everybody, thank you so very, very much for spending time with me today. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.